Hey there, everybody. This is Carrie Hamblen, the CEO and president of the Las Cruces Green Chamber of Commerce, coming again with you with one of our member Zoom chats. And we've got a familiar face with us today. We've done a couple of these Zoom chats with the conductor of the Las Cruces Symphony Orchestra, Ming, who is here with me this morning. He is dialing in from California in between gigs here. So, Ming, it is great to see you this morning. How are you doing?
Doing great. It's great to chat about the season.
Oh, I'm excited about it. I looked at it, and the Day of the Dead show, that's very near and dear to our hearts down here in southern New Mexico. So I'm very excited about that. But what I'd love to talk to you first and foremost is, you've got a bunch of musical collaborations that you do all over the country. You've worked with the Bolshoi Orchestra, the San Francisco Ballet, numerous symphony orchestras. So what have you been doing since the last time we talked?
For orchestra conductors, you're always working with a lot of different groups. And then, of course, organizations like Las Cruces Symphony were developing a season and a relationship over the years. It was a crazy summer, a lot of different types of concerts. During the season, it tends to be much more classical, but over the summer, it was crazy. I did a full Firebird. A Firebird is by Stravinsky, and it's only done as a portion of the suite, but we did some new versions of it for a summer program. I did a concert with a pop star Beck, which was fun. It was at the Greek Theater in Berkeley, which had thousands of people there. I did a concert with the Berkeley Symphony for the American Guild of Organists National Convention, which was a crazy concert with the organist from the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris.
Ooh.
And he and I played at St. Ignatius in San Francisco, which is a huge church, and it was the first time they had a concert there since their big renovation. So the summer has been very, very eclectic and a lot of fun concerts.
Well, with the organ guild, oh my gosh, I can imagine just like the reverberations in your body from being in a room with that.
Yeah, I had to warn the orchestra how loud the organ was going to be, and
Yeah.
so it was fun how the orchestra and the organ had to sort of compete with how loud they could be.
That's not a bad thing when it comes it isn't a bad thing, right? When it comes down to music and classical music especially.
Oh no, it's fantastic because
Yeah.
this repertoire was music that I hadn't known before. We did this one piece by Samuel Barber called the Toccata Festiva,
Mm.
and it instantly became a favorite of mine. And I was surprised that I hadn't heard it before. It's a wonderful piece.
Oh, that's lovely. That's always lovely when you get introduced to new music, and it's especially lovely when it's, part of your job, that
Yeah,
you get to do this, because then you're like, ooh, I got more in my toolbox now to play with.
yeah, exactly. It's just it's every season there's repertoire that's very familiar, and then there's repertoire that's very new, and
Yeah.
so it's a good mix.
Yeah. And so looking at the upcoming season of the Las Cruces Symphony, you've got quite a bit, and I'm wondering what do you do when you're picking the rundown, and the different shows and do you come up with like kind of a theme or a feeling that you want for the season and then you start piecing the music that really fits that or how do you approach that, Ming?
I think it's a good balance. There is obviously repertoire that's some of the greatest repertoire in the classical music canon, and so pieces like the Brahms, symphony that we're doing, the Fourth Symphony, the Tchaikovsky, Francesco de Rimini, or Pictures at an Exhibition. These are some of the standard, big, huge pieces that orchestras love to play. And of course, you want to make sure that the orchestra shines, and so picking repertoire that's going to feature them the best. And this orchestra, Las Cruces, has a lot of exuberance when they play. And so I want to try to pick music that really highlights their energy. And then, like you were talking about, every community is different. And so concerts like the Day of the Dead, where we really get to collaborate with arts organizations in Las Cruces, is really something that's very special. And some of that repertoire really it connects on both sides. And so there's repertoire like the Chanson Danse Macabre, or the Feuilleton, which talks about the spirits and this dance of the dead. And so it really connects to the themes of the Day of the Dead. So I think it's a good balance of all things that are going to get people in the in the seats, as in marketing. It's things that are going to make the orchestra sound fantastic, and it's music that we're just really excited to perform.
That's awesome. I'm looking forward to that Day of the Dead concert because that's something that's very near and dear to the culture in New Mexico, and so I think that's absolutely fantastic. So with this the kickoff to the season in September 28th and 29th, you've got music of Shostakovich and Tchaikovsky. You've got pictures at an exhibition. How do you feel that this particular selection of pieces kind of sets the tone for the rest of the season?
Well, it's each of the three pieces was picked specifically for a reason. The Shostakovich just opens the season. When you have your first piece of music for the entire season, the first concert, the very first piece, you want something that's very exciting that gets people excited. And this Festive Overture by Shostakovich is nothing but an adrenaline rush of a piece. It starts off with a noble fanfare, but then it becomes basically a race where the orchestra is just blisteringly playing along until the triumphant end. It's really a fantastic way to start the season. The Francesca de Rimini is one of my favorite pieces, so that was something that's near to my heart. And it's a piece by Tchaikovsky that's not performed very
Right.
often.
Yeah.
But it has these phenomenal solos from various instruments in the orchestra, so it's going to show off the orchestra quite a bit, and it's a fantastic story
Mhm.
uh, about traversing into the underworld and Dante's Inferno. So it's a very colorful piece. And then continuing that, you know, um, there are so many different artists that are in Southwest and Las Cruces. And so for the pictures at an exhibition, we wanted to collaborate with various artists. And so the president of our board, Michael, has a lot of connections with the watercoloring community. And they're going to be actually listening to the music and being inspired by it, and then actually going to be featuring their artwork in the lobby as well as probably beforehand as well. And
Oh,
so that's a work that again is very, very colorful.
yeah.
It is very familiar and showcases the orchestra in a lot of wonderful ways. But each of those three pieces is a powerhouse. And so I think it is going to be a very exciting concert, a great start to the season. And again, each piece has its own reason for being on the program.
Well, and I'm wondering, you say how it's a very exuberant group of people, energetic group of people. After performing pieces like this that really are just energy, 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 how do they, um, I mean, they must come down afterward because then it must be like a huge crash, because it's just so much energy. And then when they're done and the night is over, I mean, do you find that that happens when there's a lot of energetic music that is being played?
Yeah, I mean, much of this music is very engaging, whether it is loud, whether it's brash, whether it's very supple or sweet, requires, I think, a lot of attention. But, that's what we live for. We want to create these evenings that just sort of drag you and connect with you and get you excited and involved into the music. So I think that's part of the fun of being a musician.
Yeah. Well, as we wrap up today, Ming, because I know that I'm like fitting into a very busy schedule with you. What do you? I mean, it's hard to say like what's your favorite child, but we've got this incredible season coming up. What do you think ticket holders can look forward to in the upcoming programs if you were to tease the season?
Oh, I think it's just a little bit of everything. I mean, again, we've talked about quite a bit on this first concert, these very colorful works, but the Day of the Dead concert was the first time we did it was last year, and it was a huge success. And so I think that it's going to continue to have the sort of the same excitement about a repertoire that is built around the spirits and very celebratory evening. But we have a lot of requests, of course, for some of the great classics, and so this year we have a Brahms concert. I think our second classics in January. And that has one of my absolute favorite symphonies of all time, which is the Brahms Symphony Number 4.
Mm.
Um, in E minor. It's so sweet, poignant, and there's all this inner turmoil from Brahms. But I'm excited about that concert too because we have our youth orchestra who is fantastic. We have a youth orchestra concerto competition, and the winner of that is going to be playing on that concert. But then, again, the last concert of the year is very much like the same, the classics. We have Beethoven Fifth Symphony and Shostakovich Fifth Symphony, two huge powerhouses. One that's
Yeah.
Shostakovich is, iconic. It's such a great piece, and if people don't know it, it's going to be a fantastic way to end the season. And then, of course, our third classics, which is before that in March, features Jacob Gallagher, who is one of our trumpet players for the symphony, a composition of his. There's a
Aw.
piano concerto that features the sounds of space and the orchestra improvising on it. I think it's going to be a fantastic season overall. So, if people buy season tickets, they'll have, the full range of what the orchestra is going to be doing in the season.
Wow, I don't know how you sleep and are able to pack all of that in and be able to do that, but those of us in Las Cruces are very grateful for you, Ming, and also just for the musicians. And I love the idea of the young person being able to play. That's like a huge deal for a young person to play with a real symphony orchestra. So that's
Yeah, yeah, and a solo
exciting.
manner, it's going to be great. But it's something that a lot of orchestras do, and we want to also do to continue providing those opportunities for young students.
Oh, well, that's awesome. Well, if you're watching this, this is the opportunity for you to purchase season tickets to the 2024-2025 Las Cruces Symphony Orchestra season, which kicks off on Saturday, September 28th, with a performance of music by Shostakovich, Tchaikovsky, and of course the ever popular pictures at an exhibition. You can find out all about the season by going to their website, lascrucessymphony.com. That you can also find that either above or below, all depending on what platform you're looking at. Ming, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, and I so appreciate your just genuine enthusiasm for bringing music to people and really making it engaging, for even not even the classical music aficionados, but people who just love live performance. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. It's really going to be an exciting season, so I'm looking forward to, kicking it off pretty soon.
Yeah. All right. Well, safe travels until we see you in September, Ming. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
See you, Carrie. Bye.
Bye.